Hi, welcome to another podcast with the Global Network Against Weapons and Nuclear Power in Space, our show Space Alert. The Global Network was created in 1992 to stop the arms race from moving into space. You can support the show by clicking on the like button and subscribing to our YouTube channel, and check out our website at spaceforpeace.org. We thank our Global Network board member, Will Griffin from Philadelphia, for doing all the tech work to make this show happen. Our guest this time is our longtime friend and peace activist, Sung-Hee Choi from Jeju Island, South Korea. She's also a member of the advisory board of the Global Network. Welcome to the show, Sung-Hee.
Hello, I'm Sung-Hee Choi. Thanks so much for having me. I currently live in Gangjong Village, Jeju, the South Korea, the South Tip Island of South Korea. I came to Jeju 13 years ago to join the struggle opposing the Jeju Navy base and militarization of Jeju. I also joined other struggles, such as No to the Jeju Second Airport, which is suspected to be an Air Force base, and No to National Satellite Integrated Operations Center. I am also concerned with international solidarity, including Inter-Island Solidarity for Peace. You may check savejejunow.org. Thank you.
Thank you, Sung-Hee. We're going to start by showing a video from Gangjong Village, from the Navy base that the U.S. forced the South Korean government to build. There was a long, long struggle going on for many years opposing that. We'll play it, and then you can talk more about the direction that the South Korea and Jeju Island are heading toward being a U.S. NATO war base, essentially against China and North Korea. So let's go to the video.
Military, get out! Get out! Get out!
Friendship, not battleship!
Friendship, not battleship!
Friendship, not battleship!
Friendship, not battleship!
U.S. warship! Oh no! Oh no! Get out! Get out!
Get out! U.S. military, get out! U.S. military, get out! U.S. military, get out!
Get
out!
Get out! You are not welcome! You are not welcome to Jeju Island! Get out!
Get out! Get out! U.S. military, get out! U.S. military, get out!
We want friendship! We want friendship, not
U.S.
friendship!
military,
Get
get
out!
out! U.S.
Get out, U.S. Navy!
U.S. military, get
Get
out!
out!
U.S. military, get out! U.S. military, get out! U.S. military, get out!
U.S. military, get out!
U.S. military, get out!
Get out!
계속 외쳐. U.S. military, get out! U.S. military, get out! Get out now!
Oh no!
Oh no!
So, Sung-Hee, tell us about this protest. And I understand that this U.S. Navy destroyer that came to Gangjong Village just very recently was built in Bath, Maine, at Bath Iron Works. So anyway, if you could tell us just more about that, and then tell us in the greater picture what's happening, how Jeju is being now used in this effort of U.S. and NATO to build a war against China and North Korea.
Yeah. The date the video was taken is March 2nd. the warship, the U.S. warship called Rafael Peralta, DDG 115 came to Jeju Navy base on February 28th and left March 3rd. So it stayed in the Jeju Navy base for 4 nights, 5 days. And after its departure from the Jeju Navy base, it joined the war drill with the South Korean destroyer of Jeju. So there have been about more than 10 times of the international warships since 2017. Mostly the U.S. warships and sometimes Canadian, Australian warships. And then they came before or after any war drills of Jeju or anywhere else. When the protest against the base construction was in its peak, many people worried about that this base would be the U.S. outpost against China. Jeju is located in the south tip of the South Korea, in the Korean Peninsula, and it is close to China. So, even though this base is officially South Korean base, by the U.S. South Korea Mutual Defense Treaty, which was signed right after the armistice of the Korean War, U.S. warships can come to the South Korean military bases and facilities anytime she wants. So, which means it is not really meaningful to distinguish whether between U.S. bases and non-U.S. bases. The South Korea is a vassal state for the United States, so its military strategy is totally subordinated to the United States. South Korea has no wartime operational control, which is owned by United States now. Yes. So the video just shows how the U.S. military can come to the officially South Korean Jeju Navy base. And then the video also shows the people opposing to the U.S. military, the coming to Jeju. People are afraid that the Jeju Island would be like a powder keg for the United States because of its geopolitical location. And then I also needed to emphasize that this year, 2023, hits the 70th year of Korean armistice. It also hits the 70th year of the South Korea-United States alliance. Same year. Yeah. So this year is, kind of the very important year for the peace movement, while it is also very, the important year for the U.S. and South Korea, the warmongers. Yes. Let me see.
Sorry, I was muted. You're basically saying that South Korea is a vassal state of the United States, and that most importantly, South Korea has no operational control over any of the bases that the United States can use whenever it wants to. And that's a really, really an important point. And that South Korea, and especially in this case now, Jeju Island, is a target in any war with North Korea or China. Um, and and the important thing too to remember, that people should remember, as you say, is that this is the 70th year of the armistice signed on July 27, 1953, between the United States and North Korea. But there's never been a peace treaty, right? But the
No.
war is not really over. It's just a armistice or a ceasefire.
Mhm.
Yeah.
Right.
And lately, there's been a lot of war games being held right up against the North Korean border by the United States and the South Korean military. Recently, there's one called Freedom Shield. And these war games are now also involving NATO partners like the United Kingdom, which is a NATO member actually, but Australia and Japan are NATO partners. You have a video about a recent protest. Would you say a word about that video, and then we'll play that short video too?
Yeah, yeah.
Go ahead and say, kind of explain what this video, the second video.
Okay. Yeah. The video is, recently taken. It is in Seoul, in the mainland of South Korea. The many civic groups in South Korea oppose the one of the biggest war drills called the Freedom Shield. And it is about 42-second video, and then you can see how people oppose to the war drills. Let me say that so as you said, the Korea is still technically at war, right? Yeah, and that's why war drills are very dangerous. Yeah, that's why the United States, they still hold war operation control line. It wants to control South Korea, right? And among 365 days of a year, more than 200 days of war drills in Korea. And this war drill started on March 13th, and it finished on March 23rd. However, it is not merely that. After it, there are many live fire war exercises in Korea, something like it is called like a warrior shield, and not only inside the Korean peninsula. With the different names of there are many war drills, small and big war drills at the same time. So the South Korean Navy is also joining off Guam, off Thailand, and then South Korean Navy just created the Air Command last year. So now the reconnaissance, the plan is they're going to the of the Guam, to joining, the United States and other countries like UK or Australia, something like that. But it is not for the first time. I wasn't noticing that some NATO countries like Germany, France, and not to mention UK, have been joining the ROK United States involved war drills in recent years. And what is the purpose of the United States for these war drills? Of course, we can imagine that it is that United States wanted to throw NATO in the Asia Pacific, right? Yeah. And why United States needs NATO? And what is the advantage of the drawing NATO in the Northeast Asia, and how she can do that, right? I want to mention about the UN command, which controls armistice after the Korean, after the armistice in 1953. The UN command is composed of around, I may be wrong, 19 countries. It includes about 11 NATO countries. It includes Canada and Australia and New Zealand, Philippines, Thailand, right? But the point is that the UN command is not really for the UN. It is for the United States. So the name of the UN is PULSE. And then actually the UN told the UN command, which is dominated by the United States, that it should be dismantled. So the UN command, the commander is actually the commander of United States Forces of Korea. Same man. So the UN is just the first name. And then UN has a long time ago, told the United States that you should dismantle the UN command. But still it exists because of the United States interest. And the real command is located in Japan. So in case of emergency, I mean war broke out in Korean Peninsula, the 19 countries, including the 11 NATO countries, located whose command is in Japan, can come to Korea to join war. So they and so the United States wanted to revitalize the UN command because there are many NATO countries. And secondly, not only NATO, not only AUKUS, not only Five Eyes, United States needs a critical alliance, which is United States, Japan, South Korea alliance. United States calls South Korea as a linchpin. However, there has been a missing link because of the imperial colonial relationship between Japan and South Korea. It was a missing link. The both countries hate each other because of their relationship. But now the South Korean president is a ultra right-wing government. It is a pro-Japanese. So now the United States is happy.
You said the new South Korean president is pro-Japanese.
Yes, pro-Japanese. And then it is he is totally subordinate to the United States. So now United States is happy. Now all the missing link is now can be filled. So as I understand, there are two critical pillars for the United States to dominate the Northeast Asia. One is South Korea, United States, Japan alliance. The other one is NATO. United States needs both to confront against China and Russia, to confront against North Korea, against North Korea. Yeah.
Let's go to the video, and then after the video plays, we can talk some more about this situation.
억제하고 단념함으로써 나올 수밖에 없도록 하겠습니다.
Yes, peace. Yes, peace. Make peace.
Make peace. 우리 평화의 시민들의 요구입니다.
1만 3천 명이 그런데 우리가
계속 전쟁을 연습하면은 상대방을 도발하는 행위가 될 수 있다고 생각해요. 그러면 결국에는 언젠가 싸우게 될 수도 있다고 생각을 합니다.
You know, I remember years ago, I was doing a speaking tour that you organized for me across parts of South Korea. And we were in a taxi, and all of a sudden, on a major highway, like an American freeway, the car stopped. All the cars stopped. And I said, "What's going on?" And you said, "There's a US war game going on. And whenever these war games going on, they tell everybody on the radio on the highways that you have to stop." Do you remember that? You remember that?
Yeah, I remember that, but it was like the civilian drill, the initiated by the government, and then it happens every month. So it is like the warning. It is like for preparation for any war. In case, so the people should just stop for minutes. Yeah. So yeah, it is a part of war drill. Yes. Yeah.
So NATO stands for North Atlantic Treaty Organization, but now it's going global, as you said. The U.S. is signing up all kinds of countries in the Asia Pacific region as partners. This is really crazy. Why do you think NATO has decided to go global like this? What do you think is behind that? What do you think the reason is?
I think it was the 1 or 2 years ago that I happened to see an article that says that the UK and Germany, they have all the setup, the strategy about the Indo-Pacific. I was wondering why, and then I tried to understand, but I think that it is for the market, the capitalist market, and then it is for also the kind of the imperial the domination, yeah. So it's my understanding. Yeah, the Indo-Pacific is huge. It has as I understand, it is the more than the 60% of the whole population of the world. It has more than the 70% of the resource or market. Yeah. So the Atlantic is relatively small, but this Indo-Pacific is huge. Lots of resource, lots of people, the big market. So the NATO countries cannot abandon this region, I think. Yeah.
Do you think that the majority of the South Korean people support these war games that are aimed at North Korea?
No, I don't think so. I remember the public poll, which was conducted by the media company, and the question was, "What is your most afraid thing?" Something like that, and then the top answer was not about North Korea. The top answer was about climate crisis. So some people answered that their fear was the North Korea, but the top answer was about climate crisis. And people, many people think that this kind of war drill is not really necessary. It intensifies, the military tension, and it destroys ecology system, and then it aggravates climate crisis. Yeah.
Let's talk about South Korea's growing space industry.
Yeah.
Share with us why it matters especially in relation to the militarization of space and the climate itself. How is this connected to the climate crisis, this militarization of space that Korea is now getting involved in? And there's also now deployment in South Korea of U.S. Space Forces, the new branch of the military called Space Force. Some of those people are now deployed inside of Korea. So talk about Korea's role in this growing U.S. War planning for space.
Yeah. Last year, South Korea became the seventh country in the world who could launch more than the 500 kilogram of the payload to the space. But currently, South Korea's share of the space market is very small. But South Korea really aims, to the seventh, the space nation in the future. And then now everybody, I mean, every corporation, many corporations are crazy talking about the space industry and the government too. And the President Yoon Suk-yeol was even saying that he could not really sleep to think about the space industry. They think the space industry would be the future money. It's for money, right? And in Jeju, the South Korean government recently built up the space facility called like a National Centralized Integrated Operations Center. The government called it the civilian use. They never tell it is for the military use, only for the civilian use. And then they tell it is for the future jobs. For the the future the industry. The thing is that the satellite center is for the low Earth orbit satellites. The low Earth satellite orbits. It is where the Elon Musk, the SpaceX, has been and will, launch lots of satellites, to the depletion of the ozone. The thing is that, so the National Satellite Integrated Operations Center is touted for the promotion of space industry. However, the military is also eyeing to the center for its own future use as well. And then my suspect is that space industry is never pure industry. It is a security industry.
Yeah.
It can be clarified by many, the statements by the government, the military officers, and then the experts. So you cannot think that the space industry will be, not connected to the military. So that it isn't. Not only Jeju, the central government, the Yoon Suk-yeol's government is really promoting the space industry. And it aims for the space military power as well. Recently, the South Korean Air Force created its own space squadron, and almost at the same time, the United States Space Force came to South Korea, which is unusual. The U.S. Space Force was present to U.S. Indo-Pacific Command last December, as I remember. But the only two overseas spots for the United States Space Command are going. Is one is South Korea, and then the other is the U.S. Central Command.
You know, it's interesting what you said about the lower Earth orbit and how South Korea is helping to launch satellites into lower Earth orbit, because it's like a parking lot when you think about it. There are only so many spaces in the parking lot in lower Earth orbit, and whoever has control of those parking spaces for their satellites will have a better chance of spying on the Earth, intercepting communications, and also targeting, fighting wars. And so the United States is getting its allies, like South Korea, to help fill up the parking lot. And recently I saw that China announced that they were going to launch 13,000 satellites into lower Earth orbit, because they don't want to let the United States and NATO fill up the parking lots around the orbit, because then they would have a huge military advantage. So this whole thing is getting really dangerous.
Really dangerous, getting
Incredibly
really
dangerous.
Yeah. As I know, by 2027, South Korea would launch a bunch of the military, military use satellites. The Satellite Integrated Operation Center is not a launching site, but it is very, likely that the Jeju may have the launch site. So it's dangerous. Yeah.
Well, thank you, Sung-Hee. Thank you so much for coming on the show and for sharing those videos and your words as well. And we thank you for watching another edition of Space Alert. We'll do another show with movement leaders in the coming weeks. And until then, good luck to you all, and please get organized.
Thank you, Bruce. Thank you so much.